Welcome back to WCI-TV, sponsored by Tower MSA Partners. I'm Bob Fryer, and we are joined right now by Joan Vincenz. She is the Managing Director of Operations Risk for United Airlines. It's good to see you.
Nice to meet you, Bob.
I loved our conversation we were having just before we went on the air, how much you and your family love the industry, love the airlines, love being a part of it. It must be very exciting work.
It is exciting. I have done it all my life.
Yeah.
My sister's a pilot, my husband's a pilot, so we are all into aviation.
Let me ask you this. How many employees does United have that you manage with directly?
So we have about 80,000 in the U.S. and 100,000 worldwide. And of course, 80,000 are covered by the U.S. workers' compensation. So that's a lot of people.
And when we start talking about things like workers' comp, and of course the human element goes into it, and there's empathy that goes along with that. You work directly with all of the people that are perhaps injured on the job, and you face them directly. I would imagine empathy plays a huge role in what it is that you do.
Well,
You'd like to think so?
I'd like to think leadership isn't role specific.
Sure.
So any leadership role, you need to be empathetic, but especially in workers' comp.
Mm-hmm.
I have learned over the years, I started as a flight attendant, so I know whereof I speak.
Okay.
But people will never forget how they're treated when they're injured at work. They will talk about it for the rest of their career.
Right.
It matters how you treat people when they're in trouble.
And it can mitigate a problem. I mean, someone is injured, number one, the injury they have to deal with. And then number two, they're going to deal with the insurance that goes along with that, how to get to pay for their care and all that. And all it takes is that simple, and a company should have, I think, a philosophy when it comes to empathy. Is that something that United Airlines?
It does. It is.
Okay.
We have what we call the core four. Now, number one is safe, right? The most important thing for an airline is to be safe. But the second thing is caring. And then you follow with the efficiency and do what you say you're going to do, but caring and safety are right at the top. And the best thing we can do for people is prevent the injury.
Right.
Let people go home from work the same way they came in the morning. But when I came into this role in workers' compensation, saw that we were going to deal with people who really sometimes have life-changing events, I knew that we had to have like a mantra or a philosophy of how we were going to do it. And the first thing we said is prevent the injury, but when someone's injured, our priority is to get them immediate quality care and everything else they're due as far as pay, and our goal is to return them to health. And we deliberately said health and not work because that's the caring about the individual. Get them to health. If you get them to health, 90% of the time they'll come back to work and they'll be able to stay at work and have a good career.
Because it is easy to forget that all the numbers, and with workers' comp, the numbers are everywhere, but you've got to remember that behind all those numbers, that's a person. And isn't that something that WCI does? That it brings all these people together, and it's a constant reminder, you can look at all this stuff on the show floor, but in the end, it's all about bringing people back to not work, but health, as you said.
It is. Yeah. It's about the individual. And I oversee workers' comp in 50 states, Guam, Puerto Rico, and it is one of the most complex things I've ever seen. And I work for an airline, which I think is a logistics miracle every day. But workers' comp is really complex. And for an individual to have to navigate that, especially when they're hurt, I think the kindest, most empathetic thing we can do is help them, is to talk them through it, to make it as easy as possible for them.
Well, Joan, it was lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. And again, for WCI-TV, sponsored by Tower MSA Partners, I'm Bob Fryer.